our nation needs at this time to heal. I'm going to be sharing a series of prompts. I ask that you go through them with me. I ask you to feel what opens in your bodies, to not react to these feelings, but just let them come. Child rape is the most heinous crime. Its punishment is known to be the most severe. It has a gravity that speaks for itself, that needs space. So we grant the space. Okay? By doing this exercise, our nation returns to its body, to our bodies. We return to our conscious, we return to our convictions. It is the common ground through which we recognize each other again. To turn our blind eye to this makes us all repeat a disembodied loop that makes us susceptible to misallocate these emotions to other issues that do not compare. So we integrate this because it's in the field. And I first address my president. I speak not out of political bipartisanship, not out of religious judgment. I speak to you man to man. So I'm going to call you by your first name, not out of disrespect, but respect for the presidency. We need to face this violation head on. So hear this, receive this, and let the emotions come from your body. Don't block out, just listen. Donald Trump, you are a child rapist. 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 I now speak for those closest to you whose suffering I cannot begin to understand. These words are said out of compassion and heartbreak and healing. My husband is a child rapist. 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 My father 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 is a child rapist. My daddy 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 is a child rapist. For the parents who are no longer with you, my son is a child rapist. 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 For our armed services, my commander-in-chief is a child rapist. 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 This is to redignify our democratic process. This is not about bipartisanship. This is not about judgment or shame. This is for realignment and respect for the democratic process. I voted for a child rapist. 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 This next one is to help those who are familiar with the divine appointment of this current time. There is a purpose to this, but there must be a distinction made between the will of God and the offense. So imagine this one as the voice of God, and that God does not make mistakes, but does so for a reason. And I believe that this reason is to put the offense of child rape front and center, because it is an uncomfortably common offense that I am also an indirect victim of. It is a violation that happens within families, that happens in churches, that is way too common. And this is why some of us are having difficulty to face it. So we face it now the way God has ordained it, by putting it front and center to leaders in highest positions, that we may understand the divine appointment of this time. It's not to forgive violators, but to see the offense and have it condemned from the top down, so that an example is made out of, to represent all other of these offenses that happens in every sector in our society, including our families. This is the voice of God. I appointed a child rapist. 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 Feel that separation. the separation between God and the offense that God puts into light, not to confuse with God. That has happened for far too long. This is the meaning of these times. For our nation, my president is a child rapist. 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 My president is a child. My president is a child rapist. It's now for all of us to speak to the person that's violated us. I will leave a blank for this. This is where you insert the voice. And this is how we return to our bodies to face this time. My as a child rapist. My is 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 a child rapist. Now for the voices of the children that have been erased. Imagine these words now from those who have been raped. You are my rapist. 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 Now, to be clear, child rape has been interwoven in some of our highest religious institutions that blurs child rape with God. For those who have not had the luxury to know life without this wound, there is a disconnection from those who have not known this wound. So a realignment to what should be reality is required. We correct this now by following this prompt. That we recognize its effects and how it can skew our perception of what truth is. Child rape is demonic distortion. 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 I post this now as a testament to where I stand because I do not want to be confused with supporting leaders and positions who do not have a gauge to identify an offense as child rape. This is why, with utmost respect, Donald Trump, this is why I need to address you by your name, because I have respect for the presidency. Because an offense like this does not hide behind a title. Donald Trump, you are a child rapist. 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 By saying these words, I return integrity to what child rape is. It is a violation that merits conviction. God brings these things into the forefront so that God can show swift justice. And so what we do now is we allow it. All those who delay and stand in front of this process, may it be clear, you are standing between a violator and God's judgment. We must not get in the way of that. A judgment that comes from our common Creator, our common God. You have sworn an oath to be a leader of this nation, but what follows is firing you. And that is what returns the conscience to our nation. And if there is any form of retaliation from a psychosis of an offense that's sick as child rape, I ask all of us, all Americans, just simply don't move. Give it a week. Don't budge. Whatever top-down command comes, just simply don't move. Because this is not about bipartisan sides. We do not politicize an offense like child rape. Just don't move and allow God's judgment to unfold. And it will. This is what we do as a nation to heal. We confront this. We recognize of what's happening and examples being made of the atrocity of child rape, which is far too common in our American society. What this is now is putting a spotlight to that. Not a political party, not even a particular president. It is that violation which is in the spotlight. And we convict without question. And this is what heals our nation. I ask for all of us to not respond to the reactions of a child rapist in the heat of God's judgment. Let it come. Honor those who've been violated by just simply holding your ground. Let us redirect our emotions away from the other. Just put the attention on the violation. And there are some of us that need to repeat these same words that I ask of you as well, Donald Trump. Because this is the fastest way to heal. It is to own the violation. You'll return to the body And then this is where you will feel forgiveness. This is where you will feel recognition and forgiveness and a conscious returns. Follow these words. And to those who share this offense, who've been running from your bodies for far too long, this is also your homecoming. I am a child rapist. 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 It is my hope that you took this time earnestly, because it brings sobriety back into your position. And it should make your next steps clear. There is a God who forgives, but this God is also a God of judgment. For our country's healing. Thank you.